out on the circuit then for their green flag laps. Let's very quickly bring up the championship standings. It is very, very close. Once those pesky drop scores, again, 2 drop scores to be taken off, once that's done, well, look how tight it is. We've got Luke Pinder leading the way by 7 points over David Nye and Rob Smith, who are tied for second place. And they, in turn, then, don't have a huge gap, just 22 points over Simon Horrobin, who is 2 ahead of Jamie Going, and Zach Lucas, who are tied for 5th. So lots of very close championship battles going on, and it was an insanely close qualifying session earlier on today. And we can give you the grid now for this 15-minute race. It is Zach Lucas on pole position, Luke Pinder alongside him, and Alistair Kellett third. Those 3 drivers were separated by 1/100th of a second, 0.01 seconds, covering those top 3 in qualifying, which bodes very well for an entertaining race. Rob Smith there, you can see championship contender, is also on row 2 ahead of David Nye and Dominic Bush on the 3rd row. Spencer Stevenson and Simon Horrobin make up row number 4. 5th row then is where we find Stuart Robbins with John Cooper. Jamie Going further back than he ought to be, really. Jamie Going 5th in the points, but only 9th on the grid alongside John Cooper. Alongside Ethan Rogers, 11th on the grid for Going, 12th Rogers. Dylan Hotchin is 13th, moving up from the Ginetta Junior Championship or Fiesta Junior Championship, with Sam Watkins making a welcome return. Marco Ricci and George Davis are next up, and then on the back of the grid, row number 9, Marlo Cordell and Brianny Davis. As we mentioned, Brianny and George racing against each other here today. So that is your grid then for the BRSCC Fiesta Championship, Fiesta Senior Championship, as it often gets referred to, because the general idea is that a young driver, for example, a teenage driver, will start out racing in the Fiesta Junior Championship and then move up to the Fiesta Seniors. But we've got, of course, a lot of the sort of stalwarts of this championship, who are the older drivers, have been racing with the Fiesta Championship for a number of years now. And this year we've had the very, very exciting introduction of these ST240 cars, which you can see, the newer shape cars, which used to run in a class of their own, but they now make up the bulk of the field. They're certainly quite a bit quicker than the older spec Fiestas, which you can see joining in at the back of the grid, and it's those cars at the front that were so close together. We've had 4 different winners so far this year. They're all on the grid today. Luke Pinder, the blue car that starts second on the grid, he's had 2 wins. David Nye, the white car you can see third on the right, he's had 2 wins as well. So too of John Cooper, with Jamie Going once a winner. Had a total, though, of 8 different podium finishes. The lights go out, though. We're away and racing, and it's not a good start by double winner Luke Pinder. He's going to lose second place. He could even lose third. There's a bit of argy-bargy in the midfield as they head towards the first corner, and that was Sam Watkins getting involved in that, the number 1 car. They all avoid any significant contact for now, though, and make their way up through Coppice and Charlie's for the first time of asking. Out towards the back part of the circuit they go then, and Zach Lucas looks as though he's held on to the race lead from pole position into second place, though. I think that might be Alistair Kellett, who's up into P2 now. We'll get a better look at that in a moment. You can see there Luke Pinder, the blue car, trying to come up alongside. Yes, that is the 99 of Rob Smith that he's battling for third. They're side by side into Park Corner, but Smith had the inside line and manages to stay ahead, but then runs a bit wide on the exit, and Pinder gets up the inside into Chris Curve. No, can't quite complete the manoeuvre, so they stay then with Smith ahead of Pinder, and Pinder from second on the grid drops down 2 places to 4th halfway around the first lap. Cold rear tyres, of course, for the first lap or so for these front-wheel drive Ford Fiestas. Means the rear can be a little bit lively sometimes. The one to watch then, I guess, from a championship perspective is David Nye. David Nye, the 121 car, just coming towards us now, started 5th. He's had a poor start, but he, remember, is the man joint second in the championship with Rob Smith, who has gained a place into the top 3 now. So Smith going well here, and Luke Pinder, the championship leader, the one that dropped back. So the top 2 in the championship not having a great start to the race there. We have this event and then another 2 there at Donington Park in September, and they're back here at Cadwell actually in October for their championship finale. So this is potentially a bit of a taster of what we're going to see at the end of the season for the Fiesta Championship. There go the first of the ST150s, the older spec cars a little bit further back, but the leaders come across the start-finish line then, and it is Zach Lucas that leads the way. Alistair Kellett up into second place, Rob Smith into third, and Pinder dropping down 2 positions into 4th. Simon Horrobin in the number 14, he's up 3 positions into 5th, ahead of David Nye and Dominic Bush, with Jamie Going also making good progress there into 8th place, and that is David Nye out onto the grass, did well to save that. David Nye, the 1-2-1 car then, who completes the first lap in 6th position, as ahead of him. That looked like Simon Horrobin was ahead of Luke Pinder. Yes, he was, the championship leader, losing another place there in the blue car. And Simon Horrobin, former championship frontrunner, has gained another position. Horrobin has been on the podium twice this season. He had a couple of less than ideal races at Snetterton last time out, so he's not been able to get on the podium with quite the same sort of consistency as he would have liked, but when he is on it, as he seems to be this weekend, he's definitely a podium contender. You can see the leader, Zach Lucas, getting away, though, and it's all developing into quite an interesting fight for second, isn't it? Alistair Kellett is starting to feel some heat from Rob Smith behind. The green car is Rob Smith. There he comes with the black and red front. Right behind him, the all grey is Horrobin, the blue is Luke Pinder, and the white is David Nye. The red car then, number 9, that is Dominic Bush. Dominic Bush is not a championship contender, having had a pair of non-finishes at the season opener at Croft. In fact, I don't think he raced at Croft with us. Made his debut at Alton Park, but this by far the most competitive we've seen him so far, really. Out across the start-finish line they go. The lead gap is 0.7 of a second, so fractionally quicker than the chasing pack that time with Zach Lucas, but only by a few hundredths of a second. And actually, Simon Horrobin, 4th position with that overtake on Luke Pinder. He is the fastest man on the track, a 1:40.595. He's just over a second off the pole position time, but there he is, look, the 14 car just ahead of Luke Pinder. Didn't have a great run through the first couple of corners this time, though, Horrobin. So Pinder is sort of latching back onto his boot lid as into Park Corner they go. Pinder is really not going to be happy to be stuck down in 5th place in this race. He's had a non-finish at Snetterton last time, which obviously has counted as one of his dropped scores. In fact, Snetterton was Pinder's worst weekend of the season so far because he didn't get on the podium in any of the 3 races. This came off the back of a double victory at Alton Park the time before that. So Pinder, his season started well, but has sort of tailed off a bit in the mid part of the year, and it's not getting much better here at Cadwell Park. Looked good when he qualified second, right up on 2 wheels through the mountain. That was spectacular. Did he save it? Yes, he did. He comes over the hill still in the train where he was, but maybe a little bit further behind Horrobin than he had been a corner or so ago. There goes the leader then, Zach Lucas now. Looks to me like Alistair Kellett is getting away from Rob Smith and maybe catching the race leader. That gap, remember, between Lucas and Kellett, first to second, was 0.7 of a second at the start of the lap. We've got just under 10 minutes to go. And has the gap come down? No, goes out, predictably. Just as I thought it was coming down, there's a new fastest lap for Lucas at 1:39.8 compared to a 1:40.3 for Kellett, so he's a few tenths slower that time. The gap is out over a second for the first time in this race. There goes Lucas, there goes Kellett. He did look closer than that, though, didn't he, at the end of the previous lap. Heading up towards the end of the park straight again. You can see the rest of the field coming through, looking for some of the ST150s maybe, a little bit further down the field. The best of those is Sam Watkins at the moment, number 1, predictably, as there, side by side, is the number 11 and the 281. The 281 is George Davis, the 11 is Ethan Rogers, and that was as close as you like it going up the hill. And towards the right-hander at Park, neither of them wanting to give way. There's almost a bit of contact there. Davis on the inside, he's going to shove Rogers wide here probably, isn't he, going through Park and Chris Curve. Actually resists the temptation to do that, and they are still side by side now as they go towards the gooseneck. Wait for them to appear. Let's hope they both come out the other side. You can't go side by side through here, and eventually Rogers has to back out of it and Davis goes through. That puts him 3rd of the ST150s, who have their own sort of subdivision, if you like, within the championship these days. But then Davis, having gained the place, runs wide out of Mansfield and immediately has to move to defend, try and keep Rogers behind him. And up through the mountain they go once again. Left, right, over the hill. Important to get a good exit because you can be under threat into the Hall Bends, and that's what happens. Davis wasn't as quick over the mountain as Rogers, who's up the inside. Davis is on the grass. He's sideways. There's contact. Davis on the grass. They're both on the grass as they disappear from view, and I would not be at all surprised if one of those... No, they're both still there. Somehow they're both still going by the time they reach the hairpin. That was some real close quarter stuff, and it's Davis that's managed to actually hold on to the position despite the tag in the tail that he had going through the Paul bends just now. That was an incredible save from both of them, and now Rogers is going back at him again and looks to the outside first, then the inside at Coppice, but the door is slammed in his face by George Davis. This is a terrific scrap, but you do sense that it can only really end one way if they continue like this, and this is not the kind of circuit to be making contact with each other. It's fast, it's dangerous, there's not much runoff area, and it's very rare that you can get away with contact through the Hall bends of all places and not end up in the barriers. Rogers is coming back at Davis again now, looks to the inside, but I don't think there's a gap there towards the braking zone at Park. Meanwhile, in the ST240s, that is Luke Pinder, isn't it, going slowly? Luke Pinder, the blue car, the championship leader, I think is going slowly as they go into the mountain now. Is that because he's been off, or is that because there's a mechanical issue with the number 55 car? Let's see if we can spot him going into the Hall bends. Yes, he's slow again, so keep an eye then to the blue 55 car. I think he's heading for the pit lane, and that could be a disaster for the championship leader. Where is he? He's lost another place there to Jamie Going and to John Cooper, that was, and there is Pinder. Now, is he going to head for the pit lane, or is this a problem that he thinks he can manage? With 6.5 minutes to go, though, you'd have to feel that he's going to have to come in for repair work, but no, he carries on. So, can we see anything wrong with the car? The immediate answer seems to be no, except for the fact it's going slower than it should be. Well, there's nothing hanging off it. There's no deranged suspension. That's a deranged line through Charlie, so for the race leader, and it's going to cost Zach Lucas the lead. Through goes Alistair Kellett, and that was a good save, actually, from Zach Lucas. That could easily have sent him off the road, but he held it, lost momentum, though, and loses the lead as a result. So Kellett is your new leader, and Zach Lucas down to second position. Now, these two are only 10 points apart in the championship. Kellett is 7th in the points, Lucas is 6th. So that was a good move for Kellett to make, who missed the season opener at Croft. So he's dropping no points, but Kellett's wide now through the gooseneck, and so Lucas sees a chance to come back at him. So this is going to keep on stacking the field up. Yeah, look, because Smith and Horrobin are now right back with them. So it's 4 cars for the lead as they head towards the mountain for the 6th time. Kellett had already set the fastest lap on the previous lap. A 1:39.238 was actually faster than the pole position time set by Zach Lucas this morning. That's how hard Kellett was pushing. The pressure was starting to apply to the race leader, Zach Lucas, told and forced the mistake out of the 111 car. Simon Horrobin, you saw there, having a little look at getting up the inside of Rob Smith into the Hall bends, but decided better of it. Got David Nye there, the white car in 5th, not that far behind. So look how close they're going to be as they come out of the final corner. Well, actually, Kellett's getting away already. And Zach Lucas perhaps is starting to run into some handling issues. We saw this in our first race, didn't we, in the MX5 Club Championship. I think the heat here today is maybe leading to a couple of issues with these Goodyear tyres. Nothing wrong with the tyre, it's simply that the drivers are using up the best of the rubber in the early stages, and then they're left with overheating tyres in the second half of the race. We've still got 4.5 minutes to go. So if any of them are starting to run into tyre troubles, you do sort of fear that that's only going to get worse over the final few minutes. So Lucas then pushing on. He seems to have regrouped a bit now. He's getting away from Rob Smith again. Next couple of cars through there, that's Jamie Going and John Cooper. Going 5th in the championship coming into this race. Joint 5th, actually, with Zach Lucas. Obviously, they have scored if things stay as they are, but not by quite as many points as he might have hoped. To get 50 points for a race victory, 2 bonus points for a fastest lap in this championship, and a bonus for pole position. So Lucas has the bonus for the pole, but it's Kellett that has that fastest lap at the moment, which is going to be tough to beat, given the fact, as I said, he's gone quicker than Lucas, the pole sitter, did in qualifying. The Hall bends they go, right behind my commentary position. You can see the cars launching themselves over the curb, dancing around from side to side. One of the most spectacular sequences of corners in British motorsport. All adds to the unique challenge and character of this Cadwell Park circuit up in the Lincolnshire countryside. 3 minutes to go then, so 2 more laps remaining in this race, and it is Kellett that leads, but Lucas 3 seconds back. Can he retaliate? Well, on that lap he was 0.3 slower than Kellett. Problems for Dominic Bush by the looks of it. So coming through the Hall bends there, the number 9 car started 6th. He dropped out of the top 10, which tells you that he does have some sort of an issue with the car. And it looks like he might be heading for the pit lane as well, which is where I suspected Luke Pinder might end up a few laps ago, but he's still going in 10th position. Worth carrying on, of course, just to try and score some valuable championship points. David Nye right on the tail of Simon Horobin. This for 4th position then, as they make their way out through Chris Curve. So Horobin really strong in the first part of the race, but now starting to come under some renewed pressure there from David Nye, who formerly raced in the British Touring Car Championship in a Ford Focus for a year or so, and then came back to the Fiesta Championship where he'd enjoyed success in the past, and looking to try and find more championship success this year. He came into this race 7 points behind Luke Pinder, so he's going to get ahead of Pinder. The trouble is that he came here joint on points with Rob Smith, who is ahead of him at the moment. Smith is 3rd, Nye is 5th, so I think, pending drop scores, etc., etc., this could put Rob Smith into the championship lead as we move now into that second half of the season. This race does mark the halfway point of the championship, so from this point on, those championship points become more and more significant. Out of the final corner then, the race leader about to come through with 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. They're lapping in the 39, so this is going to be the final lap of the race. As out of the pit lane, look goes Dominic Bush. So Bush did pit for them to try and figure out what the problem was. Of course, if you go wide on the grass and you get your radiator full of grass, then that can definitely lead to overheating issues on days like this. That might well be why he came in. In fact, they've got the car back out on track again, so it's a fairly simple fix, something like getting grass out of the radiator grille. Race leaders, though, on that final lap, making their way towards Park Corner, and it is Alistair Kellett who leads the way. Now, Zach Lucas has not given up on this. He was 1.2 seconds behind Kellett at the start of the lap. That ain't 1.2 seconds anymore. It's probably half a second as they barrel through Chris Curve and head towards the gooseneck. So is there a sting in the tail here for Kellett? He's got to be careful here, not make any mistakes. It's so easy to do so, though, when you're under this kind of pressure. And Zachary Lucas, of course, is looking for his first victory of the season. In fact, so too is Kellett. Neither of these drivers have won yet, and nor has Rob Smith in 3rd. So they've all been on the podium, but none of them have won a race yet, and that just adds to the pressure that's being applied here. Over the top of the hill, not quite nose to tail, but certainly closer than they were at the start of the lap. But really running out of overtaking opportunities now. Zach Lucas, his last chance realistically, unless there's a mistake from Kellett, is here at the hairpin, and he's not close enough. So Alistair Kellett looks as though he is going to come across the start-finish line then to take the race victory in race number 1 of the weekend here from Cadwell Park. It's round number 8 of the 2021 BRSCC Fiesta Championship, and it goes the way of Alistair Kellett, who punches the air in delight. Across the line he goes, then Zach Lucas is still 1.1 seconds back at the flag, with Rob Smith in 3rd, David Nye 4th. Now, where is Simon Horobin? Simon Horobin comes through 6th, so Horobin had a bad final lap there, about 8 seconds off the pace, and unfortunately Dominic Bush, having come back out onto the track from the pit lane, has not made it to the end. That car's stationary at the top of the mountain, so that is going to need removing before our next race can get underway. But yeah, what happened to Horobin then? Horobin losing a lot of points there, a lot of places there I should say, at the end of the race. Kellett, though, will take the 50 points for the race victory. He'll get the bonus 2 for the fastest lap as well. So Alistair Kellett will score 52 points out of all of that. And Zach Lucas in 2nd will get the 48. The main interest, though, is going to be Rob Smith, who gets 46. And that puts him on to 334 points. Now, Luke Pinder finished 10th in the end, which means I reckon 32 points for Pinder, which will not be a drop score because he had a non-finish at Snetterton and then an 11th place finish in that second race. So, yeah, I think that is going to move Rob Smith into the championship lead. So, the result then, on the left-hand side of your screen, Alistair Kellett with the race victory by 1.1 seconds over Zach Lucas. 3rd place for Rob Smith, 4th David Nye, and Jamie going in 5th. Simon Horobin 6th, John Cooper 7th, 8th place then for Stuart Robbins. 9th place went to Spencer Stevenson, and 10th for Luke Pinder, having started on second on the grid, dropping well down the order. Sam Watkins wins in the ST150s, by the way, from number 11 in second place, which was Ethan Rogers, and third George Davis. So Rogers got back ahead of George Davis then by 2 seconds by the time they got to the flag. So those cars are heading into Parc Fermé. Next up on track, though, we've got action from the always exciting MX-5 Super Cup, the Mazda MX-5 Super Cup. Those cars are in the assembly area, and they are almost ready to go on track. And in a moment or two, we'll be able to head down there then with Scott Woodwis, who is in amongst the activity down on the in the assembly area, waiting for those Fiesta drivers to head to the podium and the MX-5 drivers to head out onto the circuit. So we are, I think, good to go to head down to Scott Woodwis then, in preparation for our third race of the day then for the Mazda MX-5 Super Cup.
So congratulations to Alistair Kellett for becoming the 5th different winner that we've had in the top ST240 class in the Fiesta Championship, and they'll be out for their second race. We should hopefully be able to have a chat to our top 3 in ST240 and maybe the ST150 class as well in a very few moments' time. Before that, whilst there's a bit of clear-up going on for a couple of road cars on the circuit, we come to this championship, the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Super Cup. This is a Mazda championship that is always guaranteed action no matter where you look in the field. The man you're looking at on screen is the championship leader and pole position man Sam Smith in car number 1, and he currently has a lead with about 9 points on drop scores over Jack Harding, and there's a bit of scores to settle after there was a little bit of contact at Snetterton, so they've got possibly a little bit of needle between the pair of them, but we'll see how they get on. Second place on the grid on the front row, Adam Besson, car number 4. He's been making leaps and bounds for Hills Motorsport, so good to see Adam in the mix. Thumbs up from Adam. And he wants to try and make some progress. Second row of the grid, starting directly behind his championship rival, is this man, Jack Harding. He's yet to win so far this year, but that will really be bugging him because he wants to get himself on that top step of the podium. Hasn't managed it yet, but he will do very, very shortly, I'm sure. In 4th place on the grid, the much improved double Mark 1 champion. I can see the smile on his face, which is Rob Blackwell-Chambers. I'll have a quick chat to him, actually, whilst he's in here as well. I can see the smile from behind your helmet already. You must be delighted with 4th place. You've made some good progress. How are you faring for this one?
Yeah, well, we're still 10 horsepower down, so to be P4 is pretty exciting, to be honest. Pretty happy with that.
Well, this is a bit like Monaco, so I guess the power doesn't really count for too much, but I mean, you'll be able to get some good handling out of this car.
Well, the handling's great. MCR have done a great job. It's fantastic through the corners, shocking down the straights, and we'll see where we do.
So hopefully you can get a decent start and beat some of these guys in front of you.
That's my only chance.
Good stuff. Upbeat as ever. Well done, Will. Good stuff for 4th place. A couple more drivers down here of note. Patrick Fletcher, who's been one of the main championship contenders in a while, has dropped back a little bit in recent rounds, but starts in P5 for this particular race. So he's looking to start top 5. 6th on the grid, we've got another one of the Hills Motorsport guys, James Cousins. He's been a race winner so far this year. He's looking to try and get himself up from the 3rd row of the grid. Everyone's in good spirits there. It must be either the weather, or it's just the fact we're racing again, or it's Cadwell Park, I'm not sure. 4th row of the grid, we've got Declan Lee, who's been making steady progress so far this year as well. He's also Hills Motorsport 2. And then we have our top qualifying club class runner, which is Richard Amos, who is as quick as some of the pro class drivers in many cases, and he wants to try and get himself up as high as he can. He has been as fast as his teammate Sam Smith. In fact, you can see they have identical livery cars at this point in time. Rest of the top 10 we've got here, we've got Clive Chisnell's doing pretty well. And also, we've got up in 10th on the grid, it looks like, we've got, or at least towards in the field, we've got some of our Fiesta Champion drivers. George Grant is there as well towards the back. And don't forget the camera just over here for a second, up the rows of the assembly. There's so many MX-5s on the grid, there's not enough room to fit them all in the assembly area. They're actually running up towards the top end of the road into the assembly area. That's how many cars we've got, which is pretty mega. It's been one of the championships that has boomed in popularity this year, and no wonder. Right, now we have got our drivers over here for the Fiesta Championship. I think that Laura's going to get herself in position to have a chat to some of the drivers as well. We'll have a quick chat, I think, if we can, to some of the drivers in that battle. So I'm going to quickly also make sure I've got the right top 3 from that as well. So I'm actually going to have a quick look at the results of that. So let's see if we can have a chat to our race winner, actually, or yeah, I think we're actually going to call podiums up, I think, actually, whilst we do that. So
Can you call it?
I'll call the drivers up on the podium. So we're going to do this live then. So first of all, we're going to do the ST240 class. ST240. So we'll do ST240. And so in third place in ST240, we're going to call Rob Smith. So Rob Smith is going to head up onto the podium and grab his third place trophy. Well done to Rob. So he will jump up and grab the trophy. Second place goes to Zach Lucas. So Zach will go pick up his second place trophy, all presented by Laura Payne. And the winner, fifth different winner this season, is Alistair Kellett, of course, former champion. So well done to Alistair for picking up that victory as well. I'll quickly get a jump in and have a chat with our top three in a second. So, and we'll do that. And I think we'll do also we'll do our ST150 podium, as Rob's trophy doesn't quite stay together, but so there we go. But what we'll do is we'll get the ST150 drivers up and we'll do their top three. So well done to our top three in ST240. So we'll bring them off and we'll do ST150 next. And so we'll move to third place in ST150. I've got to get this right to make sure. And it looks like it's George Davis. So George Davis in third place, his first race in senior Fiestas. And gets himself a podium in class, so well done to him. Second place goes to the leader in the ST150 class, which is Ethan Rogers. So well done to Ethan, who will jump up onto the podium. Second place for him. And the defending champion, raced like he's never been away, car number one, Sam Watkins, who will head to the top step of the podium. Not bad for the champ, straight back into the championship, number one on the door, and back towards the top step of the podium. And we'll have a quick chat to at least our winners in both classes before we get this next race underway. There's a bit of recovery to do, so we'll be able to have a chance to have a chat to them. So, tell you what, let's have a chat to our ST150s first of all. Then Sam, like you've been never away, isn't it?
It was really fun. Really, it looked quite eventful. Luckily, I was sort of left alone for a lot of it, so I didn't mind that.
Did it take you much to get back in the groove in these Fiestas, or did it just fit like a glove?
New tyres are pretty nice, to be honest. There's a little bit of obviously a difference. I still got muscle memory from racing here last year, so it was a bit to get used to, but it was really fun.
So race 2, you've got to try and show some of the regulars here for this season that you still were number one.
Yeah, I got the number. Oh yeah, I want to rub it in.
I remember when I talked to you in the office, you said you had number 7. I said, you can have number 1, so...
Yeah, it's got to be rubbed in, hasn't it? You got the chance, you got to do it.
Good stuff. Well, fingers crossed for race 2, and we'll see how you get on there.
Yeah, cheers, thank you.
Good stuff. Where is our second place man, Ethan Rogers? So if we can go have a chat quickly with Ethan, we'll bring him in. And we'll get George in a second as well. But, Ethan, decent result, second place, and it keeps you lead in the ST150 class, so pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. It's a shame I couldn't stick on Sam for a while, getting stuck between the turbo, but I'll give it a go in the next one tomorrow.
You had a great scrap towards the end with George. That must have been pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was nice to get past in the end. Just want to get one step higher tomorrow, hopefully.
Good stuff. Well, fingers crossed, and we'll see if we can do that tomorrow.
Thank you.
And let's bring George in. Not a bad transition from juniors to seniors, straight away third place, and your first podium. So how does that feel?
Yeah, I guess it's been a long time coming really, but yeah, I think the transition has gone quite well. A little bit of a learning curve with the new tyres because it's on slicks, but yeah, I had a nice little race, good start. Yeah, I had some nice little battles. I could have got second, but a couple mistakes creeped in, but I guess my first time I got to just keep chugging away at it, and had some nice little battles, so hopefully I could have plenty more in the future.
They look good out there, so well done, enjoy it, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Right, let's have a chat with our ST240 guys. Let's bring Alistair in and have a chat who is our ST240 class and overall race winner. That must feel good getting back to winning ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was surprised even, to be honest. I got a great start and got past, got into second, and Zach seemed I didn't have the legs of Zach at the start, and he pulled a good gap on me. And catching him, and then he started to make a few mistakes, and then he lost it, going onto the back straight. I didn't know where he was going. I didn't know he was going left, right, got past him. That was fine into the lead and came to the gooseneck, and I just lost the back of it and nearly went off myself. I don't know how we got back onto the lead, and I think both of us struggling for tyres at that stage, so it would just control us to the end. Brilliant to get winning. Fantastic, first win of the year, so brilliant.
Getting really competitive because you're the fifth different winner we've had in this class this season. These new Fiestas are just inspiring so many new and old drivers to jump in and enjoy them. They look massive fun to drive.
They are fantastic to drive, and the Goodyear tyres are fantastic. The whole package is fantastic. Just look at the qualifying times. Thousands between the first three around here, the hardest track in the country, I would say, to drive. and you can't get anywhere. You get a great, if you get you have to start battling behind, you get a break in the race, but other than that, everyone's nose to tail the whole race. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And then you got to do it again for race 2 tomorrow, but you know you've got some fast drivers behind you.
Very fast. They're all fast.
Good stuff. Well, I can see it means a lot, so well done on the victory, and fingers crossed for tomorrow.
Great, thank you very much.